I just watched a clip. I just got to spit it out. I'm not only saying you have a choice. I'm saying you're choosing the option that you know hurts you because you're weak. You're too weak to face the truth of why you're making that choice to numb out the pain of what is really going on. I just watched a clip of Matthew Perry talking to some doctor or some book writer about his theory that everybody has a choice for addiction or not. And Matthew Perry was trying to justify that there is no choice. But, I mean, he was definitely younger then. Hopefully we've all come a long way and realized, oh no, you do have a choice. You're choosing the one that you think is the lesser of the two evils because you're scared and you're weak and you want to numb it out. That's what we talk about all the time. It's not an easy truth to swallow, of which Matthew Perry was not willing to swallow that truth. He thought he was being brave, speaking up, saying he was an alcoholic. It's just announcing that he's too weak to face his real pain and real issues. He's an alcoholic because he's choosing to be an alcoholic because he doesn't want to face the real pain underneath, right? Whatever it was, whatever he thought he was unlovable or unworthy or not good enough or whatever the fuck his bullshit rhetoric was in his head, the lie he was telling himself was so much more painful that he'd rather become an alcoholic that destroyed his life and ruined his career, right? It's like, no, you don't want to face that truth, and you think you're brave standing up saying, it's not a choice that I'm an alcoholic. That's not brave. That's announcing your weakery, right? That's announcing. And I know this is hard to hear and hard to swallow. That's why there was an argument about it. That's why there was a little clip. And I didn't even read all the comments. I'm sure many of people wanted to agree with Matthew Perry and defend him because we all love him dearly. And that's the problem, though, with a lot of us as humans, isn't it? If we like you, we want to defend you, even if you're wrong. I do it too. We all do it. It's just our natural humanness to want to coddle and love and justify other people's wrong actions to make them feel better about their wrong actions. And that's why they used a celebrity who we all love. Matthew Perry was very, very loved, right? He was a very likable guy. Most alcoholics and drug addicts are likable guys, but they don't need us coddling them and telling them you're so likable and lovable. Go ahead and do your drug. We'll love you no matter what the fuck you do. No, they're hating themselves. They're trying to numb out their pain. They're in pain and sadness, and telling them it's okay is not okay. It's not okay. It's not okay that you're choosing to destroy your body and your mind because you're too scared to face that monster inside who's lying to you. You want to be brave. Don't stand up and announce you're an alcoholic or drug addict. Stand up for yourself inside yourself and turn and face that fucking demon and say, sit the fuck down and shut up. I am lovable. I am enough and I am worthy. And I'll prove it to you. And I'm stronger than you. I'm not going to take any drugs or alcohol to numb out so you get to run the show, because that's what ends up happening, right? They think they're standing up to that monster by numbing that monster out with drugs and alcohol, but as we know and see, that's not what happens, is it? They get addicted to the drugs and alcohol because they have to keep taking them because they're not numbing out that voice. They're proving that voice correct. They think they're fighting or defending against that voice. No, they're not. They're proving that voice correct. They're saying, you're right. Look at me now. No, stand up to that voice. Stand up to that monster inside who's lying and saying, you're not good enough. You're not worthy. You're not lovable. You fucked up. You're bad. You're this. Fuck you. Sit the fuck down. I'm in charge now. I love me. I do what's right by me. And obviously that's done easier the sooner than later. The first time you choose to numb out by drugs, alcohol, or anything else, it's going to get harder and harder every time you make that choice, because soon enough and very quickly, some people the very first time will become addicted. They'll take that easy route each and every time, and they'll do it quicker and faster, quicker and faster, quicker and faster. And the quicker and faster they do it, finding that's the device that allows them to silence the monster, even though it's only temporary. And the monster only gets louder every time it wears off. That's why the addiction gets faster. The monster gets louder. So it's like, are you going to be brave enough to stand up and face that monster and respect your inner child, love your health, your body, your mind? Or are you going to let it drag on for years and drag your body, mind, and soul through the fucking mud, destroying you? And then struggle for a lifetime in rehab and everything else. All because a fucking liar inside of you swore to you that you weren't good enough, you weren't lovable enough, you weren't strong enough. And ironically, you ended up agreeing with that lying voice inside. The more you picked up all those drinks or drugs or alcohol or whatever it is, proving that monster liar inside of you that it was right. No, it is not. No, it is not. It's not easy to hear the truth, that you have a choice, that you are in control, that you have to face those monsters. It's not easy because that means you're responsible. Yeah, fuck. You could hear it in Matthew Perry's voice. Deep down, he knew it was a choice. And deep down, he was holding on to that justification that it was an addiction. He was allergic to it. He couldn't help it. He was holding on to that for dear life. Because think about that. You feel like a fucking fool. You mean I chose to do this to myself? I can't hear that. I've been trying to numb out this inside voice forever. Now I have to numb out the outside voices? That seems impossible. Let me hold on to my lie. Let me hold on to my justification. Oh God, please let me hold on, right? That's what he needed to do to survive. To know that truth so loudly from the outside, when he deep down really knows it already. Whew, God, that'll break a man, and it did. It doesn't have to be like that. This is why we all have to heal. This is why we all have to love ourselves. We have to love ourselves so deeply and so profoundly that we'll stand up to those monsters inside of us. And the more we can do that, and the more we can heal, the more we can set that example for others just by doing it, not by a damn thing other than not caving into the lies inside. But people do want to hear. They want to understand. They want to see. Because oftentimes people look at other people who don't have any, quote, problems, meaning they can't see anything on the surface, and they think, you don't understand. That's what we think. We think if we see another upright person, everything's going right, they can't possibly understand. They must have never been through anything. They don't really get it. That's just justification. Excuses for why they're not there. There's not a human on earth that doesn't have stuff that they've gone through. Even those who have had beautiful, perfect lives, in the majority of people's book, people would say that's the perfect life. Even those people have stuff that you can't imagine. They're having internal battles, maybe on a totally different scale than you, but they're just as real as yours. And you think yours is harder because it's your battle. They don't have those same battles, so to them, you're right, your problem isn't a big deal. Just like to you, their problem isn't a big deal. Because you're having opposite battles. And everybody thinks their battle's the toughest. Theirs is the hardest. Because it is for you. That doesn't mean it is for everybody else. Everybody's unique battle is the challenge for them, because it's the hurdle, that last one they've had to face or never faced. Oh. I don't know if I'll put this one out. Sometimes I feel like everybody's ready to hear truth, and other times it's like they just can't swallow it. And it's like, which is more helpful? Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, this is the truth. If people can wrap their minds around it, the truth is you have to fully love and accept yourself, which means you have to stand up to those monsters. Then that is the most beneficial message anybody in the world can hear. But if you're fragile and weak, and if you're already not standing up to those monsters, you're fragile and weak, and you hear this truth, it could break you completely in half. So it's like you do have to, it's like coddle some of them, but you need to coddle them with the truth. Don't coddle them with lies. Like it was a very short clip. But there was a woman who was like trying to defend Matthew Perry. And I think it was more out of, she was a couple of things. She wanted to be seen as his coddler. She wanted to be seen as what the majority would respond to as his coddler, right? Like everybody wants to love him. Everybody wants to stand behind him. But that's all lies. And why are you doing that? What, to be likable by him? You want to see get some clout? You want to go with the crowd? You want to feel comfortable with everybody saying what makes everybody more comfortable? That's what it is. It makes people more comfortable to allow them to live in their justification of their excuses of not doing the harder thing. Then nobody goes in an uproar. Nobody gets frazzled. Nobody gets upset. But nobody gets helped. Nobody gets healed. Nobody feels whole. It's like, what the fuck? But this also goes back to what we've had many conversations about. You can't help those that don't want to be helped. If he wants to hold on to that addiction like a dog with a bone because he's too scared to face truth, then let him. He's not ready to wake up. Trying to rip that last crutch out from underneath him could take him out. So he's choosing to hold on to that crutch instead of turn and face it and live and thrive. So it's like you can't, there's nothing anybody can, that's why everybody has to do it themselves. We are all dealing with shit. Some of us better than others, right? Like some of us, it's not that it's easier. I think that's the other misunderstanding. Just because somebody is choosing to do the hard work doesn't mean it's easier for them. It means they're fighting that battle. Even if they're, beat to shit inside. It might not look it on the outside, but they're refusing to give in to that voice inside. They're choosing to take the reins and be stronger and fight those internal battles versus caving and giving in. But see, this is where I have to drop the bone. And again, it's like each their own. They're all responsible for themselves. So if you want to hold on to your justification and be a drug addict and alcoholic, by all means. And if you want to say you have no control, you're allergic, you're addicted, you don't have a choice, you don't have to justify it to me. Drink away, drink into oblivion, drink yourself into the grave. Do your drugs into the grave. If that's what makes you feel best, if that's truly what you want, everybody has a choice here. It's like, don't help those who aren't asking for the help. It'd be very different if he came in and was like, what do you mean it's a choice? You mean nobody's holding a gun to my head? I don't have to pick up this. I don't have to drink this? But if I don't drink this and nobody's holding a gun to my head, that means the voice inside, I'm going to hear it. And it's telling me that I'm no good. Okay, well, do you believe you're no good? No, I think I'm a really good person. I'm nice. I'm kind. Okay, well, I think you're nice and kind too. And I think you're a really good person. Where'd you come up with that bullshit rhetoric? Who's that little voice inside? Who's that liar? What happened? Right? It's like you have to unravel that stuff. You have to walk it back. It's years and years of pent-up lies and bullshit. Justifications upon justification, shame upon shame, guilt upon guilt, blame upon blame. It's not easy to unroll that big knotted mess. But it's not easy being an alcoholic or drug addict, right? Or living on the street or fighting, or even, Matthew Perry was living on the street, but I'm sure, like if you're doing all that stuff, you're not happy. And you're not happy because of the lies inside, not the stuff outside. But it does take the person wanting to do it, right? And it takes people who are willing and able to sit with those people. I'm not. But that's why I do it on here. It's too draining for me. It's like even the people who really want the help, how ready are they really? A lot of times they're not. They want the help, but they're not ready to do the work. And nobody can do the work except you. You have to go in and do that work. And there's a lot of people who are strong enough to hold your hand and have the arguments with you and try to help you, because these people aren't always nice. Like they're not, because they're weak, because they're hurting themselves inside, they end up snapping on the outside. And it takes a strong person to deal with those snapping at you on the outside. Even though you can see it has nothing to do with you, it doesn't change the fact that it's not easy to deal with that kind of people, to truly help them, right? That's why I think it takes a special kind of person to handle all that. And, there's so much truth out there. There's so much information. There's so much, that you don't even need to go out there or even look at that information. You innately know it deep down. You just had to silence everything out and be real with yourself and strong enough to tell yourself that truth inside and face it all the time, every day. As long as it takes, and unravel it and walk it back. But I know it's not just that. In other words, saying just implies that, oh, that's easy. I'm well aware it's not. But it is an option. It is a choice. Just like it's an option and it's a choice to take those drugs or not, take that alcohol or not, or whatever other numbing thing you're doing. Sex, drugs, alcohol, shopping, busying yourself, avoiding yourself. There's so much. And I'm not saying that they can't, like in other words, there's also, you can busy yourself, but once you clear yourself out, it is, I think, good to busy yourself with productive things. Like in other words, if you're choosing to do stuff, choose to do things that feel good and healthy, and keep your mind preoccupied with truth and clarity and with proper focus, right? Like, anyway, this is just my little 2 cents.
Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. You can now purchase an audio journey with me using the link below.